Hello friends, today's our topic of lecture is life cycle of Puccinia. Now the systematic position means classification of the Puccinia. This classification is proposed by J.C. Ainsworth in 1973. Kingdom fungi, then division Eumycota. Eumycota group is the group of micellar fungi. It is the group of advanced fungi. It is the group of true fungi. Then subdivision Basidiomycotina. Basidiomycotina is one of the subdivision in which the perfect stage condition is the basidiospores. The unique identity of Basidiomycotina group or subdivision is the presence of the basidiospores. These basidiospores are the sexual spores. They are meiospores. Why? Because they develops after the meiosis. Then class is the Teleomycetes. Teleomycetes is one of the important class having the rust fungi as well as the smut fungi. There are two different orders of rust fungi and smut fungi, and today's fungus Puccinia belong to order Uridinales. Uridinales is the order of rust fungi and Ustulaginales is the order of the smut fungi. But our today's fungus Puccinia is belong to order Uridinales, and Uridinales order is the order of the rust fungi. Then family Pucciniaceae, then genus Puccinia, and species of the Puccinia is the Graminis. Why Graminis? There are many species of Puccinia. From that many, three species of the Puccinia causes the rust diseases in the wheat, and from these three Puccinia species, Graminis is included in our syllabus. Okay, so Puccinia graminis. Then some introduction about the Puccinia graminis. First point, Puccinia graminis is the causal organism of black rust or stem rust disease of wheat and other cereal crops. Okay, here two photographs are given. These photographs shows the infection to the stem as well as the leaves of the wheat, and this infection is caused by the Puccinia fungi or Puccinia fungus. Okay, Puccinia graminis causes the black rust or stem rust of the wheat. So in today's lecture we are observing life cycle of graminis, or we are observing life cycle of black rust of wheat or stem rust of wheat. Okay. Then second point, Puccinia graminis is an obligate parasite. Obligate means what? Compulsory parasite. Obligate means obligatory means compulsorily, mandatorily. Obligate parasite means without its host plant, it cannot complete its life cycle. Such fungi are called as the obligate fungi or obligatory fungi. Okay, and this Puccinia is the one of the parasitic fungi, and this parasite is the obligate parasite or obligatory parasitic fungus. Number 3, although Puccinia graminis can survive in the absence of alternate host, its life cycle is completed only when the both hosts are available. One important thing is that Puccinia graminis, this fungus requires two host plants to complete its life cycle. First host is the wheat and second host is the barberry. Okay. Then fourth, without another host or secondary host or alternate host, the Puccinia cannot complete its life cycle. Okay. Then number 4, it is a heterocoelous fungus and macrocyclic rust. Heterocoelous fungus means what? It is a parasitic fungus. This terminology we are using for the parasitic fungi. Okay. Heterocoelous means this fungus requires more than one host plants to complete its life cycle, so called as heterocoelous. And macrocyclic means its life cycle is very huge. This life cycle having the different events, different stages, different steps, so that its life cycle is macrocyclic. Suppose in case of the spores, this fungus produces 5 different type of spore stages, so that this fungus or this rust disease is called as macrocyclic rust. So this is about the Puccinia graminis. Puccinia graminis is the obligate parasitic fungi. It causes the black rust or stem rust disease of the wheat. It requires 2 host plants. Then it is a heterocoelous fungus or macrocyclic rust. Then vegetative structure of the fungus. Vegetative means somatic structure of the Puccinia graminis. In case of fungi, in case of Eumycota fungi, the vegetative structure means somatic structure is the mycelium. So that the characteristics regarding the mycelium of the Puccinia. Okay, see the number 1. There are 2 types of mycelia. Mycelia, plural of the mycelium. There are 2 types of mycelia, dikaryotic and monokaryotic, in the life cycle of Puccinia graminis. This Puccinia graminis produces 2 types of mycelia. One is the dikaryotic. Di means 2, karyon means nucleus. The hyphae or mycelium having each cell of the mycelium having the 2 nuclei. Such condition is the dikaryotic condition. When hyphae or mycelium having the single nucleus, or fungal cell is the single nucleated, or fungal cell having the single nucleus, such mycelium is called as the monokaryotic mycelium. Okay, means in the life cycle of Puccinia graminis, it produces 2 types of mycelia, dikaryotic and monokaryotic. See these 2 photographs. The first photograph, blue colored or sky colored photograph. Here the each cell is the uninucleated. So this mycelium is the monokaryotic mycelium. See this diagram. In this diagram, each cell is the binucleated. Each cell having the 2 nuclei, and these 2 nuclei is nothing but the dikaryotic condition. So the life cycle of the Puccinia produces monokaryotic as well as the dikaryotic mycelium. Okay. Point number 2. The dikaryotic mycelium having 2 nuclei occurs in primary host wheat plants. This dikaryotic mycelium, this diagram, yellow colored diagram, this dikaryotic mycelium produces on or occurs on the primary host wheat, whereas the monokaryotic mycelium, this one blue colored diagram, this monokaryotic mycelium, it occurs on the secondary host. Secondary host also called as alternate host barberry. Okay, dikaryotic, there are 2 types of mycelia in the Puccinia graminis. One is the dikaryotic, which occurs on the primary host wheat, and monokaryotic mycelium, which occurs on the alternate host or secondary host barberry. Okay, number 3. Both these mycelia are intercellular. Intercellular means what? The mycelium present in between the cells, called as intercellular. Intracellular means what? When mycelium entered in the cells after breaking the cell walls. Okay, after breaking the cell wall, after puncturing the cell wall, mycelium entered in the cells. Such mycelium is intracellular. But Puccinia mycelium is the intercellular, means it is present in between the cells. Then mycelium is the septate. Septate means this is the transverse wall. See here, the transverse walls are present in the mycelium. So due to this transverse wall, this transverse wall is called as septa, and due to present of this transverse wall septa, mycelium is the septate. And branched, you see both the mycelia are branched. So both mycelia dikaryotic as well as the monokaryotic. They are intercellular, septate and branched. Number 4. Cell wall is composed of chitin and glucan. Okay, this is the cell wall composition of the fungi Puccinia, or this is the cell wall composition of the Puccinia. Cell wall composition is the chitin as well as glucan. Number 5. The mycelium takes nourishment from the host cells with the help of spherical hostoria. Hostoria is the plural of the hostorium. Hostorium singular, hostoria plural. As you know that either dikaryotic or monokaryotic, both mycelia are the intercellular. These intercellular mycelia produces small outgrowths. These outgrowths are entered in the host tissue or host cells, and that outgrowths are absorbed the nourishment or food material from the host tissue, and that absorptive structures, absorptive organs are called as hostoria. And these hostoria are the spherical. Spherical means circular, or in another word, these hostoria are the knob-like. Okay, so this is about the vegetative structure. There are two types of mycelia in the Puccinia graminis life cycle. Dikaryotic mycelium present in primary host wheat, monokaryotic mycelium present in the alternate host barberry. Both mycelia are intercellular, septate and branched. Cell wall composition is the chitin, and the mycelia produces, thus both type of mycelia produces spherical hostoria, which are the food material absorptive organs. Okay, so this is about the mycelium of the Puccinia. Now the another characteristics. Life cycle. First point, Puccinia graminis is a macrocyclic heteroecious rust. Already I have explained you. Macrocyclic means what? Its life cycle is the very huge. It can passing through different type of spore stages. So it is the macrocyclic. Heteroecious, it requires more than one host. So it is called as the heteroecious. Okay, and rust means it is the one of the type of disease, rust disease. Okay, Puccinia graminis is a macrocyclic heteroecious rust. Second point, you should have know what is meant by macrocyclic, what is meant by heteroecious, what is meant by dikaryotic, what is meant by monokaryotic, what is the definition of hostoria. You student should know all the definitions. Okay, point number second, there are 5 types of spores, namely iridospores, teletospores, basidiospores, pycnidiospores and aciospores in its life cycle. Okay, now these 4 types of spore stages are occurs in the life cycle of Puccinia graminis. Okay, number 3, these spores develop in 2 different hosts in a definite sequence. These 4 stages are produced by these two host plants, primary host wheat as well as secondary or alternate host barberry. Okay, and these spores develop in 2 different hosts, clear, and in a definite sequence. After a particular sequence, one by one, these spore stages can be develops in its life cycle. Then number 4, the sequence of various stages means 4 stages occurring in the primary and alternate hosts are as follows. Here the sequence is given. You see the spore in first column spore stages, second column name of the host. First 2 spores. First spore is the iridospore, second one is the teletospore. These 2 spore stages can be occurs or develops on the primary host wheat. Its botanical name is Triticum aestivum. Triticum aestivum is the botanical name of wheat. On the primary host of wheat, the iridospores and teletospores are develops. Then third spore stage is the basidiospores. These spores cannot develop on the primary host wheat or neither develops on the alternate host barberry. This spore stage develops in soil. This spore stage develops in the soil, not on primary host, neither on secondary host. Then spore stage or spore name pycnidiospores and spore aciospores. Pycnidiospores and aciospores, they are develops on the secondary host or alternate host barberry. Barberry botanical name is Berberis vulgaris. Berberis vulgaris is the botanical name of the barberry. So iridos first spore stage. So this is the sequence. First iridospore, second teletospore on wheat, third basidospore in soil, 4 pycnidiospore, 5 aciospores on alternate host barberry. So this is about the spore stages occurs on the occurs in the life cycle of the Puccinia graminis. Now the spore stages one by one. First spore stage is the iridospore, or first spore name is the iridospore. See the first point. Dikaryotic mycelium is produced by the germination of aciospores on wheat plants. The life cycle of the Puccinia begins with the germination of aciospore on the wheat plants. The life cycle, again I will repeat you, the life cycle of the Puccinia is start with germination of aciospore on the wheat plant. Aciospore is the last and fifth spore stage. Okay, and after germination of aciospore on the wheat plant, the dikaryotic mycelium is produced. Okay, then point number second. Dikaryotic means the mycelium having the, each cell of the mycelium having the 2 nuclei. So that is the dikaryotic mycelium. Second point, this mycelium enters through the stomata and develops in the intercellular spaces in wheat stem and leaf tissue. Okay, when this dikaryotic mycelium entered in the stem as well as the leaf of the wheat through the natural opening stomata, then it will spread in the intercellular spaces. Why? Because it is a intercellular mycelium, it is not intracellular mycelium. Okay, now point number 3. A binucleate iridospore develops at the tip of dikaryotic mycelium, and when mycelium is fully grown in the leaf tissue as well as stem tissue, the some mycelial tips comes toward the epidermis. The some mycelial tips, some some mycelium tips are erect. Erect means straight. They become erect and they come toward the epidermis. And this mycelial tips produces the iridospores. And iridospore is the first spore stage in the life cycle of the Puccinia graminis. Okay, and these iridospores are the binucleate. Binucleate means what? Each spore having the 2 nuclei. So it is a binucleate spores. Okay, then number 4. These spores develops in groups, and these groups are known as iridosori. These spores are develops in groups. See, this is the B number diagram. This is the single spore. So this is the unicellular spore. This is see the stalk of the spore. At the tip of the stalk there is a oval spore, and that is the iridospore. Iridospore having the outer exine and inner intine wall. Then toward the 2 equatorial poles the germopores are present. Then germopores are present, and this is the body of the iridospore. So this is the single iridospore. Single iridospore is the stalk. Then it is the bicellate structure having intine and exine wall and toward the equatorial poles the germ pores are present. Pore means small hole, and this hole or pore useful for germination, so called as germ pore. Okay, these spores are always develops in the group, and this is the group of the in A diagram. This is the group of the iridospores. This group is called as the here what is the name is given, just a minute. There are two names here. Okay, number 4, these spores develops in a groups. You see in the B diagram there is a single iridospore, and in A diagram these iridospores are in group, and this group of the iridospores is called as iridosori or iridinia. Second name is the iridinia or iridosori. So in A diagram, the iridospores are in group, and this group of the iridospore is called as the iridinia. Okay, this is A diagram is the transverse section of the wheat leaf or wheat stem, showing the iridinia having the group of iridospores. Okay, now number 6. Number 5, matured iridospore is stalked, unicellular, oval and binucleate. Just we have observed that. The number 6, the spore wall is thick and differentiated into 3 layers, whereas inner layer has 4 equatorial thin areas called as the germ pores. There are 4 germ pores present on the equatorial end of the spores. 4 germ pores are there, but in this diagram we can find the 2 germ pores. In 3D diagram we can find the 4 germ pores. Okay, number 7, iridospores germinate immediately after its formation. When iridospores are formed, immediately they can germinate. Okay, this is the important characteristic of iridospores. Then number 8, iridospores can reinfect the wheat plants, and hence they are effective in the spread of the diseases. See this diagram. Here this is the iridinium or iridinia plural. This is the diagram of the iridium having the many iridospores. When iridospores are released from the iridium, they having ability to reinfect again wheat plants. Okay, these iridinia having ability to reinfect the wheat plants, and wheat plant again produce the iridinia, and iridinia again produce the iridospores, and iridospores again reinfect the host plants. So majority of the infection in the Puccinia life cycle is caused by the iridospores. Okay. Number 9. However, they are incapable to infect the alternate host barberry bushes, and these iridospores do not having ability to infect the barberry bushes. They having ability to infect the primary host wheat. See in the 2 photoplates infects iridosori on the stem and leaf of the wheat. Iridosori means group of the iridospores. So these are the small pustules. Pustules means small spots. So these are aggregation of the very small spot is called as small lesions, or somewhat larger spots called as the pustules. So these are the dark brown colored pustules in first diagram on the stem, in second diagram on the leaves. Okay, when you take the transverse section of stem or leaf passing through these iridosori, okay, passing through these iridosori, then you will get this structure, a number structure. That is the structure of the iridosori. This is the broken epidermis of the wheat leaf as well as the stem. Then at the base there is a wheat tissue, stem tissue or leaf tissue. Then there is an intercellular mycelium, and these intercellular mycelium produce the upright iridospores. So this is the single iridospore, which is the stalked, oval and binucleated, single-celled and binucleated. When these iridospores are liberated from the wheat, they again having ability to reinfect the wheat plant. They do not having ability to infect the barberry bushes. So this is about the first spore stage in Puccinia life cycle, that is the iridospore. Okay, first release begins with the germination of asciospore on the wheat plant. Asciospore is the last spore stage or fifth spore stage in the life cycle. These asciospores, when germinate, it produces the dikaryotic mycelium. This dikaryotic mycelium develops in the intercellular spaces in the stem as well as the leaf tissue, and this mycelium produces the iridospori, and iridospori is the group of the iridospores, and these iridospores are the stalked, oval, binucleated, unicellular and binucleated structure, and they having ability, they after their liberation, after their dissemination, they immediately germinates and they infect the primary host wheat, not secondary host or alternate host barberry. Okay, so this is about the first spore stage on the wheat plant. Now this is the second spore stage, that is the teletospore stage. Okay, see the point number 1. At the close of wheat season, the iridospori also start producing teletospores in addition to iridospores. In the beginning of the life stage of the wheat plant or wheat crop, first in the beginning of the infection, the wheat plants produces the or Puccinia produces the iridospores. At the end of the life cycle of wheat, that mycelium directly produces the teletospores rather than iridospores. Okay, or in case of late infection of the wheat, that late infection direct produce the teletospores in rather than the iridospores. Or at the end of the life cycle of wheat, the all iridospores are converted into teletospores. Okay, in this way the teletospores are develops in the life cycle of the Puccinia. Okay, at the close of the wheat season, the iridospori directly converted into teletospori, or at the close of the wheat season, the wheat plant directly produces the teletospores rather than iridospores, etc. Okay, there are 2-3 chances to develop the teletospores on the wheat. One thing is confirmed, that these teletospores are develops at the end of the life cycle of the wheat crop. Okay, point number 2. The teletospori also called as tilia, appears as black raised streaks along leaf sheaths and stems of the infected plants. When the infection takes place, the teletospore stage is develops on the wheat. So these pustules, raised pustules, develops on the wheat stem as well as the leaves, and that pustules are shown in the diagram number A. A diagram shows the teletosaurus or tilia. These small pustules, these small patches or spots called as the tilia or teletosaurus. When you take the transverse section of this tilia or teletosaurus, then you will find diagram number B. Diagram number B is nothing but the transverse section of the wheat stem or wheat leaves passing through tilia or passing through teletosaurus. Okay. Sorry. Number 3. The tulutospore is stalked. See diagram number C. The tulutospore is stalked, bicelled, spindle-shaped structure and constricted or curved slightly at the septum. You see this in C diagram. There are two tulutospore. See the first tulutospore. Each tulutospore is the bicelled. Iridospores are unicelled and tulutospores are the bicelled, upper cell, lower cell, and there is a stalk. So spores are stalked. Tulutospores are stalked. They are bicelled. They are very thick walled. They are very thick walled. Outer wall is very thick, called as exine, and inner wall is the thin, called as the intine. Why outer wall is very thick? Because these spore stages develops in the beginning of the summer season. In the beginning of the summer season, the life cycle of wheat is complete. Life cycle of wheat is complete at the time of beginning of the summer season, and summer season is the adverse condition for the fungal growth, and to adapt in adverse environmental conditions, to adapt in the high temperature conditions, these spores become a thick walled. Okay, so these tulutospore is the very thick walled exine and intine smooth walled. Then it is stalked, bicelled, and each cell is the binucleated. Each cell is the binucleated. Binucleated means what? There are two nuclei in each cell. There are two nuclei in each cell. So this tulutospore cells are the binucleated. Binucleated but dikaryon in phase. Binucleated means only two nuclei are there. Dikaryon phase means what? When these two nuclei, one from male strain and another one from female strain. When these two nuclei, one is male nucleus, another one is the female nucleus, such condition is called as the dikaryon condition. And here the spore cells are the dikaryon in condition or dikaryon in phase. Clear? So this is the characteristic of the tulutospore. Then number 5, the wall of the tulutospore is thick and smooth, and tip is usually pointed or rounded. We already covered this aspect. Number 5, each cell of the tulutospore is binucleate and is provided with the germpore. Okay, and these binucleated cells, each cell having the single germpore, means single tulutospore having the two germpores for each cell. Each cell having the single germpores, that is the germination pore. Number 6, as the tulutospore matures, the two nuclei in a cell fuse to form a diploid nucleus. You see in this second structure of the tulutospore. In first diagram, each cell is the binucleated dikaryon in phase, but in second diagram, two nuclei are fuses with male and female nuclei are fuses, and so that is the diploid condition. Okay. Number 6, at the tulutospore matures, two nuclei in a cell fuse to form a diploid nucleus. Number 7, they are incapable to reinfect the wheat plants, and these tulutospori do not having ability to infect the wheat plant or barberry plant. These tulutospore not infect the primary host or neither infect the secondary host or alternate host barberry. Okay. Number 8, under favorable conditions, they germinate in next spring season in soil. When after successful summer season, when spring season comes, in spring season, they start germination in the soil, and after the germination of the tulutospore, they produces the basidiospores in the soil. That is the third spore stage in the life cycle of the Puccinia. You see these two diagrams. Basal diagram is again Tylotosporus having the group of the Tylotospores, and these Tylotospores are bicelled, stalked. Each cell is the binucleated in this way. This is the upper three diagrams, and this is the lower one diagram. Diagrams are the same, having the same meaning. Then third spore stage is the basidiospores. Okay. Just a minute. This basidiospore is the third spore stage in the Puccinia life cycle. This spore stage develops after the germination of the Tylotospore in the soil. This basidiospore cannot develop on the wheat, cannot develop on the barberry. Okay, first point. On return of favorable conditions in spring, the Tylotospore germinates. Tylotospores are germinates at the when the favorable conditions are return in the spring condition or spring season. Second point, it produces one germ tube from each cell. Okay, you see in this diagram, A diagram is the matured Tylotospore bicellate structure, each cell having the diploid nucleus, two nuclei fuses, so that is the diploid condition. Number B diagram. In B diagram, the upper cell produces the epibasidium or promycelium from the upper side of the upper cell, and from the basal side toward the lower side of the septum, the epibasidium is produced. So each cell of the Tylotospore produces the single epibasidia, basidia, plural of the basidium. So in this way, two epibasidia are produced by the single Tylotospore. Okay. Now these diploid nucleus are passes inside the epibasidium. Now see the diagram number C. In C diagram, this diploid nucleus goes in the reduction division meiosis. This is the last event of sexual reproduction in fungi. Okay, this diploid nucleus goes in the reduction division meiosis, and each diploid nucleus produces the 4 haploid nuclei. So that each epibasidium having the 4 haploid nuclei. So both the epibasidium having the 4 nuclei. At the same time, this epibasidium produces the 4 septa, 4 transverse walls. And these due to this 4 transverse wall, the 4 cells are identified in the epibasidium. The 4 cells are clearly observed in the epibasidium. So this is the 4-celled epibasidium produced by upper cell as well as the lower cell of the Tylotospores. Then these each cell produce the small sterigmata. Sterigmata are the small pointed structure developing by the each cell, and through this pointed sterigmata, the 4 nuclei are come outside and they produce the special covering around them, and they become a circular structures, and these circular structures are nothing but the basidiospores. So each cell of the Tylotospore produces the 4 basidiospore. Okay, what happens in the germination of the Tylotospore? At maturity of the Tylotospore, each cell is the binucleated, 2 nuclei are fuses, male nucleus, female nucleus. So each cell is the dikaryote diploid in condition. Each cell produces the single epibasidium. At the same time, diploid nucleus goes in the reduction division meiosis, and 4 daughter nuclei are formed, and these 4 nuclei are entered in the epibasidium. At the same time, epibasidium produces the transverse wall. So in this way, epibasidium is the four-celled structure, and these each cell produce the small sterigmata, and this pointed structure at the tip of the sterigmata, and four basidiospores are developed, and these nuclei goes in the basidiospores. Okay, each epibasidium produces the four basidiospores. From that four basidiospores, two are male strains, two are female strains. At the lower cells, again four basidiospores are developed. From that four basidiospores, two are male and two are female. In this way, single telutospore produces 8 basidiospores. From 8 basidiospores, 4 basidiospores are male and 4 are female strain. Okay. Now here the description is given. On first point, on return of favorable conditions in spring, the telutospore germinates. Okay, just a minute. On return of favorable conditions in spring, the telutospore germinates. Second, it produces one germ tube from each cell. Third, the germ tube has limited growth and is known as promycelium or epibasidium. Number 4, the diploid nucleus moves into the promycelium and divides meiotically to form a 4 haploid nuclei, 2 of male and 2 of female strain. 5, the promycelium now divides into 4 cells by the formation of transverse septa. Number 6, each cell produces a single basidiospore. Each cell produces the single basidiospore. Number 7, basidiospores are small, unicellular and thin, circular, then thin-walled structures, each with a haploid nucleus. Each basidiospore is the haploid. Okay. Number 8, they are disseminated by wind. They are transferred by wind. Number 9, they can germinate only on the leaves of the alternate host barberry bushes. So this is one of the important characteristic of basidiospores. After germination, they can disseminate by the wind. They can transfer from the wind, and they cannot infect the primary host wheat, but they infect the secondary host barberry. Okay, these basidiospores are infect the barberry bushes, not to the wheat crop or wheat plants. Number 10, basidiospore can survive only for few days and they perish or die in the absence of alternate host. Okay, these basidiospores are they can survive only for very few days, and if the alternate host is not available to them, so they cannot survive. So in this way, this is about the basidiospores. Basidiospores are developed by the germination of telutospores. Okay, so in this way there are the 3 spore stages in the Puccinia life cycle. So today's lecture we can stop here, because this life cycle is one of the largest life cycle, so that we have divided this life cycle in 2 lectures, part first and part second. Part first includes the occurrence of the wheat, occurrence of the Puccinia, then classification of the Puccinia, what is by heterocoelous rust, what is mean by macrocyclic rust, what is mean by then mycelium of the Puccinia, dikaryotic mycelium, monokaryotic mycelium, then produces the 5 spore stages, and from 5 spore stages in today's lecture we have discussed the 3 spore stages. First one is the iridospore, second one is the telutospores, and third one is the basidiospores. Now 2 spore stages and alternation of generation is Remaining, we will observe the fourth spore stage, pycnidiospores, and fifth spore stage, aciospore, and alternation of generation in Puccinia in next lecture in life cycle of Puccinia part 2. Thank you.